Tonight, John Stockton, Karl Malone, and the Utah Jazz at Big Mac to take on the Denver Nuggets. And good evening, everybody. Along with Scott Hastings, I'm Drew Goodman. Third meeting of the year between the Jazz and the Nuggets. They've split the first two meetings of the year. The Nuggets have won here at Big Mac, and Utah took care of things at the Delta Center. A chance for the Nuggets to get to 500. They had an opportunity last week against Chicago. Didn't get the job done tonight. If they can win, they'll go to 23-23. More importantly, Scott, in those standings, as you look at the Western Conference right now, the Nuggets in 8th position, the final playoff spot, 5.5 games ahead of the Clippers.
Yeah, and that is important, you know, because you would sit there and think that Denver hasn't played as well as they're capable of playing. But you know what? They're right there in the 8th spot. That was their one goal this year, is to get to the playoffs. And right now they got a great shot to do that. I
don't understand why the mailman, he gets enough bumping in during the game. Why does he have to bump us now? Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, injured, as you know. We call it the Samsonite shoulder. And Mahmoud told us before the game he's going to try to give it a go. He's in uniform. He's doing the layup drill and shooting jumpers, though it still pains him. If he can't go, that causes all kinds of problems at point guard.
It's a huge hole, as we talked in the beginning, and they've got to have somebody come in, step up, and not only play some great defense, but they got to start getting some scoring, because you don't beat the Utah Jazz very often scoring 92 points.
Well, one guy who is starting to pick things up, Rodney Rogers. Look over the last half dozen games, 18+ on 3 occasions. And the thing I like most, instead of taking 24, 25-foot jumpers, Scott, he's starting to use that bulk.
Oh, that is exactly right. He's taking guys, and this is the Dallas game, just backing him down, backing him. He's getting to the point where you're not going to be able to play him one-on-one. He's going to take guys to the hole, you know, and that was a turnaround jumper. He's got the kind of touch at 6'7", 265 to go strong and dunk you, or put that soft little jump shot.
And LaFonso Ellis has been terrific through most of the year. He's been their leading scorer the last 3 games. He had 20 the other night against Dallas.
He's great. And you know when a guy's rolling is when he goes to the basket, guys are hanging all over you. A guy wrapped his arm around him. He goes up, one bump with the knee. Guy hits you on the, boom. You still get the touch, you get the three-point play. And he's playing tremendous right now. And he's the reason the Nuggets are almost at the 500 level.
Now, it won't be easy to get to that 500 level because Stockton and Malone are here, the perennial All-Stars. They're going to Minneapolis this weekend for the All-Star break. Let's talk about the mailman. Karl Malone always gets his points, and he always plays exceedingly well against Denver.
You know, and that's fine. You can let Karl Malone get his points, but the one thing you can't let Karl Malone do is get his points and shoot 13 to 15 free throws. When he gets the free throw line, he kills you.
Now, spelling John Stockton and also Jeff Bellone, a guy Colorado folks are familiar with. Jay Humphries, he can play the 1 or the 2, and he's scoring a little bit more lately.
Well, he started playing well against Portland. He's shooting the ball a little bit better. He's struggling all year, but he's a guy to watch out for.
All right, the Nuggets and the Jazz, it's live and it's next on Prime Sports Network. The Jazz and the Nuggets getting set. Let's pick up the starting lineups. The public address, Slash Ramsey.
And now let's meet the starters tonight for Utah. At guard, 6'4" from Mississippi State, number 24, Jeff Malone. At guard, 6'1" from Gonzaga, number 12, John Stockton. At forward, 6'6" from DePaul, number 23, Tyrone Corbin. At forward, 6'9" from Louisiana Tech, number 32, Karl Malone. And at center, 17 from Louisville, number 50, Felton Spencer. The Jazz trainers, Don Sparks, assistant coaches, Phil Johnson, Gordon Chiesa, David Fredman. And the head coach for the Utah Jazz is Jerry Sloan.
There is Jerry Sloan, 6th year. The only people coaches-wise have been around longer in the league. Don Nelson at Golden State with that franchise, and also Wesley Unseld in Washington. Let's look at the playoff picture right now. We alluded to it off the top. Denver in 8th position. Utah is sitting right now in 5th position. So if the season were to end today, the Nuggets would have to challenge Gary Payton and Sean Kemp and Seattle. But it is better than being on the outside looking in. Get back to Slash Ramsey for the Nuggets introduction.
Chip Gillen, assistant coaches Mike Evans and Gene Little. The head coach of your Nuggets, the horse and cards, Dan Issel.
Tonight's keys to the game brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Think Ford first. Scott?
Keys to the game are obviously pretty simple. First of all, you got to keep Karl Malone off the board. You can't let him dominate. You can't let John Stockton control the tempo of the game offensively and defensively. And lastly, if Mahmoud isn't able to play, you've got to fill that void. You've got to have somebody step up and take his place.
Now, a few moments ago, as we were walking off the court from the Open, Dan Issel got together with Mahmoud, and he said, how do you feel? And Mahmoud shook his head, I feel okay. He said, do you want to play? He said, yes. Robert Pack will get the start, but Mahmoud apparently will play. The all-time series, Utah, the only team that has beaten the Nuggets more than the Utah Jazz, the Los Angeles, easy for me to say, Lakers, 53 wins against the Nuggets. And the Nuggets, however, have won 3 of their last 4 after a 7-game skid against Utah. Spencer against Mutombo, and the Nuggets control the tap. Lee Jones, Dick Bavetta, Bill Spooner, pretty veteran bunch. Williams against 23 Tyrone Corbin getting the start. Mutombo wheels in, and it is rejected by Karl Malone. Here comes John Stockton, the all-star, the other way. And he pulls up in transition and hits. He does not take a bad shot. That's the only thing. That's the first shot I can remember in a while that bordered on a bad shot for John Stockton. He hits 52% from the floor.
He knows with Mahmoud gone that he's going to try to take over this tempo. He's going to try to make Robert Pack play defense. Pack likes to float around a little bit. And you got to watch Stockton's opposite arm, because he's pushing off, getting that shot clean every time.
Shot clock is down to 4. Pack gives off. Williams throws up a 3-pointer. It's off the mark. Karl Malone, first of many boards he will have. One thing with John Stockton on the floor, Utah does not turn it over. Malone 17 feet away. Mutombo battles with Spencer, and Spencer pushes off to get one. That would have been a 2-pointer. Foot was on the line for Stockton. Slapped away by Stockton. Brian Stead, Pat, another rejection. Malone. Well, that's what Mark Eaton used to do. Jeff Malone comes off the screen.
Well, the similarities between Phelps Spencer and Mark Eaton just then shown. Neither one of them would get past half court on a fast break. Phelps down there about the 3-point line of the Nuggets.
It looks like Mark Eaton is finally done. He had the disc surgery as Reggie Williams cans the jumper, and he probably is all done, but he had a marvelous career. He's still the Utah Jazz captain. Guy who blocked shots and rebound, didn't do much on the offensive end.
Yeah, and they'll miss him. Phelps Spencer's big and will do something in the middle, but they're going to miss him a little bit. Plus, he's a good guy. He's just one of those quality human beings. As Pack picks up the foul, Dan's kind of excited about that foul, but you know, he was a quality person in the NBA also.
Jazz on the road 11 and 12 this year. They're +6 in the Doug Moe map. Wins on the road versus losses at home. The Nuggets, by the way, -1 in that category. They have 6 road wins. Nearly stolen. Now it is by Pack. He's got Stockton to beat. Pack winds in and blows the layup.
He wanted a foul right there. I don't know who would have got the foul, because Stockton held his ground pretty well.
Jeff Malone on the baseline. Can't leave him alone. Jazz by 2, 4-2. Been a lot of action, but not a lot of balls dropping through the hoop. Jeff Malone averages 16.5. Reggie Williams, they need his offense tonight. Reggie led the team in scoring in January.
The one thing you can't do down the offensive end is respect Karl Malone and the Utah Jazz so much that you stop going to the offensive glass. You've got to punish them on the glass, because what happens, Utah sits and watches Malone rebound all the time, and you can hurt them down the offensive end.
They're actually not a great rebounding team despite the presence of 32.
Well, and that's wise, because they sit and watch him get 15 rebounds a night, where, and other than Tyrone Corbin, who's pretty good on the glass also, they'll sit and watch a lot.
Nuggets inside 10 on the shot clock. Stockton does just what you said. He backs off Pack and begs him to shoot the jumper.
Well, that time offensively, and when the Nuggets are good, they're good because they move the ball and cut. When they stand and hold their space and they pass and no one moves, they always struggle.
Felton Spencer barrels in and hits the basket.
That's a great move and another great assist by John Stockton, but he's getting on Felton a little bit. Spencer, when he goes the hole and Dikembe leaves, he needs to be right on that block and jamming that through the net.
Nuggets trailing 6-2. They have had very few good looks at the hoop. Pack thought about it and then throws up what nearly was an air ball. So the Nuggets out of sync early offensively.
Yeah, and that's a bad shot because he's got to know with John Stockton, he's not going to get a little bumpy foul on John Stockton. John Stockton's an NBA All-Star, an MVP, an Olympian. He's not going to get those ticky-tack calls.
Tyrone Corbin, you don't mind him shooting the basketball. Not a great outside shooter. Nuggets have drawn a blank for over 2 minutes. Ellis penetrates and he was hacked. 7:35 to go first quarter. The Nuggets have one basket. That was a Reggie Williams jumper about 3 minutes ago. The Jazz haven't fared much better. One of the things Dan Issel said, you were talking about this and how to deal with the mailman. He said, hey, I don't mind if Karl Malone gets 25-27. He gets 25-27 versus everybody. You can't let him go crazy, and then you have to control everybody else. He's too good a player.
And you don't let him kill you on the free throw line because that means you've got guys sitting down.
Ellis has the first one through. Denver Nuggets basketball is brought to you in part by Biggs Hypermarket. It's never been so easy to get so much for so little.
That's kind of like the Brian Williams trade.
Yes.
Big trade.
Big trade. Dan on this show, if you have the Dan Issel show edition later this evening, Dan said a couple of weeks ago he thinks the Brian Williams trade will go down in NBA history as one of the all-time steals. Stockton gives to Malone. Jeff Malone. A little bit short. Ellis on the glass.
The only trade I can think of right now that would be fair would be the Robert Parrish to Boston with Golden State. I can't remember who they grew up with.
Rick Roby. Roby. No, isn't it? Or is that the DJ? That was the DJ
That's
trade.
a DJ trade too.
That was bad also. Pack enters in with the trees, gives to Ellis. Ellis has it partially blocked, goes up again. Finally gets a whistle from Bill Spooner. Fonz got fouled 3 times before he got a whistle. 6:58 to go, first quarter. The Jazz 6, the Nuggets 4. LaFonso will be at the free throw line when we come back to Big Mac. Kyle a moment ago.
Yeah, the one thing you've got to do without Marquis, they don't have a legitimate shot blocker. Robert Pack took it hard to the hole. May have got fouled the first time on Fonz, second time back up strong. But if you're not going to have a team blocking a bunch of shots, and I know Malone blocked a couple early, you've got to attack them. You've got to get them in foul trouble. You've got to make your free throws. And then you know what? You got a chance to win the game.
Scott, I've always said you are the most astute observer of this game I have ever met.
Excellent.
Cool, man. Ellis 4 of 4 tonight from the line, and he has made a noticeable improvement after a real early season slump that kind of went toward the middle of the season at the free throw line. He's a much better free throw shooter, 66%. Tyrone Corbin cashes in from the baseline.
Well, Reggie that time rotated on Stockton. Pat got caught on the outside of a screen. When you do that, somebody's going to be open. You know John Stockton's going to find him. Reggie wanted Dikembe to come out on the floor. I don't know if that would have been wise either.
Backs off. He thought about taking the jumper. Now he penetrates Ellis. Up fake, gives to Reggie, who walks in for the layup. Nice move by Reggie Williams to tie the game at 8.
You shoot a high percentage when you take the ball to the basket. If they're going to rotate and try to trap also, you've got to make them pay for it on the defensive end.
Good to see Reggie involved in the offense early. He has just 12 points over the last 2 games. When was the last time he was in single digits in consecutive games?
Yeah, it's been a long time. I think with the birth of his son, you know, you lose a little focus, a little concentration, and he's too good of a player to be struggling.
And Reggie ties up Tyrone Corbin. Good play by Williams underneath.
Well, it's good hustle. These guys are scrambling right now. LaFonso contesting his shot. You got to keep him off the board. Tyrone actually has it. Reggie stays with the play, gets in there and ties him up. Good hands.
That came to us. Scott Hastings had it for a moment and then fumbled it. 5:50 left first quarter. Tied at 8. Stockton finds Jeff Malone. Now that's the kind of shot Jeff Malone likes, where he's slightly off balance and looks like he's about to fall off the table. The lob just out of the reach of Fonz.
An exciting play right there. Really need to get the fans into this game. Kind of sitting back and watching and see what's going to happen right now.
Need to get the players involved in this game. Tied at 8, and we have played 6.5. And Mahmoud Abdul Rauf is up off the bench, ready to come in. Stockton buries the 20-footer.
You know, he's really worked and improved his outside shot. You used to be able to double team down. You double team alone. You'd always leave Stockton and really not worry about him. But, you know, shooting 52%, as you said, that's tough to leave him alone.
Ellis faces up. He's a little long on the J. Stockton wants to push. Malone will have an opportunity to three-point play. LaFonso tagged Karl Malone as he went up.
But that's kind of a bad play by LaFonso both plays. When you're running with Karl Malone, LaFonso right here kind of turns and just kind of watches the ball. Karl Malone is going to go to the basket, and John Stockton, they play together so often, is always going to look for him. That time LaFonso quit at the block. Great pass, three-point play opportunity.
So Mahmoud comes in, and Karl Malone goes to a familiar spot. He is always among the 2 or 3 players in the league who shoots the most free throws.
And when he came into the league, it was a really bad free-throw shooter. It has improved a lot in the last 6-7 years.
He's at 70% right now. 12-8, the Jazz by 4. Jay Humphries in the game, guarding Rauf. Nuggets not moving real well early.
No, a lot of stand, a lot of look in the post. And this is when Denver struggles when they do this.
Bad pass by Mutombo, picked off by Corbin. Humphries leading a 3-on-2. Humphries left alone, jumper right through.
It's amazing when you watch this, the difference between the two, get it into the post offense. When Denver does his pass, guy cuts, nothing. That time they pass the ball into Karl Malone. He's directing traffic. He's sitting there, tie cut for me. You know, he's telling Tyrone Corbin to cut to the basket, cut, double team, switch, and then Jay Humphries wide open jumper. That's the difference between maybe a team that's comfortable with themselves, comfortable with what they do, because they really communicate out there.
14-8, Jazz lead by 6. We have 2 roving reporters tonight, Lewis and Floorwax.
Yeah, thank you, Drew. We were just on the court. These guys are so big down on the court. I'd say they'd be classified as giants, wouldn't you?
They are classified as giants. I've looked through my information. Anything over 6'5" is giant. 5 foot and under is midget. 4'6" gnome. 4 foot even troll. 3'6" elf. Anything under that,
Drew Goodman. Now back to Drew Goodman and Tom Boerwinkle.
Well, you know what? That's the last time, obviously, that we'll go to those 2 tonight. I'm glad we got done with that early. 14-8, the Jazz by 6. And the Nuggets turn it over. One thing you notice with a young team is they'll turn the basketball over very frequently. And then you look at the Jazz, conversely, a veteran team. They're second in the league in fewest turnovers. You look at the field goal percentage. Nuggets not shooting it well, obviously. With John Stockton, the Jazz only turn it over about 14 times a game.
Well, right now, Denver's trying to gimmick defense. They're trying to trap it, trying to move around, and that hasn't worked so far. But the one thing, like you said, you can't do is turn the ball over. I mean, the last one you don't mind because somebody actually tried to set a pick and get a foul on Reggie Williams. But they've got to start playing together. They've got to start moving around, or you're going to get killed by the Utah Jazz.
Rodney Rogers checks in, and he has quickly become a fan favorite here at home over the last couple of weeks because of his offensive outbursts and his penchant for getting at least one gigantic slam a game. Mahmoud brings it up inside 3:40 to go. First quarter, he is yet to let one fire. Stiff. Mutombo. That is way off the mark.
Well, he wanted to foul. Obviously, you don't shoot that ugly of a shot and not want something, but they're not getting a lot of movement. They're not getting a lot of ball passes.
Benoit looks down and is short. Stiff trying to push it. balance, climbs in, contact, no whistle. Spencer pulls it down. The Nuggets right now couldn't score in an empty gym.
Well, Dan Issel won't allow this to happen very much because he's going to get a technical and say he's displeased with what's happened. He's felt his team's got fouled 3 times in a row going to the basket.
Quite frankly, the only reason the Nuggets are in this, and you look at the shooting percentage, Utah 50%, but it's a strange 50% because they could easily be down by a dozen right now. They're not even getting close offensively.
No, what's happening is they're getting some kind of good positioning, but then when the double teams come, they're not making that extra pass. That time Brian Stith wanted to get something going. Good move, but when Phil Spencer comes there, he has to find the tempo.
Mutombo with a block. He leads the NBA in shots blocked. He's trying to plead his case to Dick Bavetta that it was off of David Benoit. He loses that. 14-8, Jazz by 6, 2:23 to go first quarter. Nuggets trying to find the hoop. Jazz by 6. Here's the action a moment ago. Dikembe Mutombo doing what he does best.
When you double team, you're going to have guys cutting the basket wide open. That time, Benoit didn't realize the best shot blocker in the NBA was the guy coming over and putting it in his face.
And the Pioneer block shot leaders brought to you by Jack Brewer's Pioneer Infinity. We not only want to be the last luxury car you ever buy, we want to be the first. Mutombo, Olajuwon, Robinson, Mourning, and the rookie out of BYU, Bradley. Humphries will try a 3. Not close. Raouf gives off to Stith, and Stith was fouled on his way up. That's one way to get out of a scoring drought, try to push the basketball.
Well, and I think they have that capability to do it. Maybe gave the ball up a little bit too soon. Watch the foul, splits 2 guys. Looks like he might have lost the ball and could have traveled a little bit, but you know what? When you're struggling and you're behind, you don't mind any call you can get.
You hear Dan Issel in the background saying it should have been a 2-shot foul. Raouf gets his first shot off. The good news is it goes right in. Mahmoud, who has taken only 9 shots in his last 2 ball games, Sacramento and Golden State. He did not play against Dallas the other night. He needs to shoot more than that. That's his game. Humphries has it stripped. Ellis leads the break. 3-on-2.
Goodbye.
Steps it.
Goodbye. The mailman got a package that time. He didn't deliver it. He got a package.
That's right. He got to deliver it.
That right there, ladies and gentlemen, shows you how strong Rodney Rogers is.
Humphries to Spencer, and Spencer treats it like a foreign object. That's off. Stith climbs the ladder. Now the Nuggets trying to get a flow going. Mahmoud to Stith. He'll elevate, and he hits.
2, 3 quick plays. Mahmoud comes in here, hits a jumper. Great feed for the dunk. Bryce Stith hits a jumper, and this crowd is now in the game. We have a tie ball game.
Nuggets on a 6-0 run the last 52 seconds after going more than 4 minutes without scoring. Jeff Malone against Stith. Contact, and he throws one up. Jeff Malone needs to be off balance to shoot.
Yeah, he's a better off-balance shooter than he is standing still. But, you know, Bryce did not a bad idea. Try to get a foul. But you know what? He doesn't have a chance to foul Malone by falling down like that.
How about that? Mahmoud, a little acrobatic push from the free throw line. He has 4 now.
But there's people right now going outside, getting in their closets, and grabbing heavy bags to have a bad shoulder like Mahmoud has right now.
And they're grabbing the luggage.
That's right.
It's amazing, some of the injuries in professional sports, and we're not ridiculing what happened to Mahmoud. It's a legitimate injury, but you hear guys slipping on the tub. All sorts of crazy things happen at times. Great hustle play by Ellis. Karl Malone didn't go after the basketball, and LaFonso Ellis banged it off the legs of Karl Malone. 16-16. Nuggets have to push one up as the quarter's about to end. Raouf, it was close. Another shot won't go, and now the horn. And at the end of 1, I think the Washington Generals and the Harlem Globetrotters put up more points in a 12-minute quarter than this one. But the Nuggets are even with Utah after struggling early, tied at 16. Second quarter underway. Along with Scott Hastings, I'm Drew Goodman. Tied at 16. Neither team able to find the range in the first 12 minutes. Stockton penetrates and gives off to Spencer, who makes the layup and was fouled.
Well, right away, you see the danger of John Stockton. He makes a pass no one can make. Fine Felton Spencer. And now, by Dikembe Mutombo sitting down resting, you don't have the shot blocking ability and the intimidation that you have with Dikembe. Nice pass. Good foul. Great call. Can't give up too many of those and stay in this game. And the one thing good, though, Drew, is Utah must have played bad also, because you end the quarter tied 16 in all. So if it's going to be a low-scoring affair, you don't give up a lot of three-point plays.
Mahmoud will try a three. Actually, foot on the line. It would have been a deuce. Stockton the other way. Third time, and a pile of bodies, a dog pile at the three-point line.
Remember when you were kids, when that happened like that, you kind of just jumped on the top and everybody laughed. Double team right here, cut to the basket. Reggie back gets it, may have fouled. Ball still scrambling out. Rodney finds it. Oh, Rodney can't show. Felton Spencer's got to weigh 300 pounds.
Well, he's listed at 265. I don't think he's within 30 pounds of 265.
265? That's what Rodney's supposed to weigh.
Now, Rodney told me he's down to about 255.
He's looking a lot better.
19-16, Jazz by 3. 1 minute gone in the second quarter. Scott, well, what do you typical scales at this day?
That must have felt 212.
You haven't seen 212 since you were 9.
But you know, I'm going the way of our award-winning producer, Lou Personette, who at one time got huge. A couple years ago was huge. Got on the Stairmaster, got on the diet, watch what he's eating. That's my next goal, is to be like Lou.
Well, I think you should aspire for loftier goals. 19-16, the Jazz by 3. Tom Chambers with a chorus of boos as he gets on the floor, and naturally those boos because of his earlier altercation with LaFonso Ellis this year, and they both were suspended for a game, and since that time they have made nice with each other. Chambers misses the layup. You think Tom, I'm looking at his arm, do you think Tom has been working out with the mailman?
No, well, I think he's littler than he was last year, to be honest.
Is that right?
Okay. Yeah. Nice try, though.
Sure.
Here's down the end, break. Call a foul on LaFonso. LaFonso just trying to get out of the way right there. Bill Spooner calls a foul. I guess he said he slapped his leg or went by and sold him a subscription to a bad magazine or something, but he called the foul on LaFonso. Tommy Chambers gets the 2 free throws.
Chambers, who went to Boulder Fairview High School and then the University of Utah. He is over 19,000 career points. He is on 24th on the all-time scoring list in the NBA. And he blows them both. So still a three-point advantage for Utah. Brian Williams posted up the same area as Reggie Williams. So now Reggie vacates. Rodney hard to the hole. Was hit from behind.
He's kind of holding his wrist there. You obviously, the way he's been playing, hope he's not seriously hurt. But this is something Rodney hadn't been doing earlier in the season, and that's taking the ball to the hole. He was selling for those outside shots. One thing you got to remember, though, when you do take it to the hole, sometimes it's going to be a line.
Sure, but he's got the body to endure. He's a guy like Karl Malone who should get a number of free throws each night. Yeah. He should expect to go to the line 18, even more than that a night.
When the officials start finding out who this kid is, what he can do, and start to get a certain amount of respect in the league, he'll start shooting more fouls, he'll start getting more calls, and he'll be more of a dominating player that I think he still has a chance to be.
Jazz by 2. The game's been disjointed on both ends for both teams. Stockton penetrates and then misses the layup. He made a nice cut to the basket and blew the layup. Nuggets can tie. Williams back to Mahmoud, sets his feet on its way, and after hitting his first 2, Mahmoud has now missed his last 4. Malone, well, I'd say that's pretty good position. Karl just had to turn
Stockton at 13 assists a game finds that guy and gets him the ball. That's something though that, you know, LaFonso and Rodney can start learning to do also.
Ellis denied position by Malone. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Williams has to put it up. And Brian Williams misses the follow, and then the rebound is ripped away by David Benoit, and Brian Williams was over the back. That'll be number 2 on Brian. And Mutombo will come back in. But Brian will stay on the floor. LaFonso Ellis goes out. Denver Nuggets basketball brought to you by the Denver Post. Get the bigger, better Denver Post for 99 cents a week. That's half off. Call 832-3232 for details. 832-3232. 21-17. Jazz by 4. Tommy Hammond's getting set. Chambers drives baseline. And a force out. Foul called. And will it go against Rodney?
No, this is against Dikembe. The one thing you lose with Brian Williams now sitting down is this quickness to guard people like a Chambers. Chambers takes Dikembe right to the hole. They call a push on the side. Obviously, Dan not real happy, but this does not help this team, the Denver Nuggets team, when your player that's been very significant for you is sitting down with 3 fouls already.
Stockton working the screen with Spencer. Wheels around, finds Benoit. Good pass, easy bucket. Give the assist to John Stockton. The Nuggets with just 1 point here in the second quarter. This is how they began the basketball game.
So right there was just a great case of difference between Utah and Denver. Karl Malone gets in the paint down low. He gets the ball. That time Ronnie Robinson, Benoit on his back, can't touch the ball.
Hammonds keeps it alive, but it goes to Chambers. Here comes Jay Humphries. Stockton, great look. Benoit goes up, and a foul. But Mutombo looked like he had all basketball. And Dan Issel almost begging Dick Bavetta for the technical.
But it's another great pass by John Stockton. Splits a couple defenders. Benoit goes baseline. Look for the contact with the body. Benoit's kind of jumping backwards. As a defender, you're allowed the right to go straight up at a plane, but he's going to call a foul, I believe, on Rodney. A little chest to back, and that's how you get a foul in the NBA, especially when you're a rookie player.
David Benoit, his 3rd year in the NBA. 1st year out of Alabama. Went to Spain and played. He's a good free throw shooter, better than 82%. 4 for Benoit, and an 8-point lead for the Jazz, the largest separation of the basketball game.
How scary is Benoit, Latrell Sprewell, and Robert Horry on one college team?
Hey, don't forget the kid James Robinson in Portland. Alabama has had enormous talent the last few years, and you wonder why they never made a Final Four, even a Final 8. Or did they make a Final 8?
I believe they made a Final 8 a couple years ago.
It's not moving real well. Tommy Hammonds gets Chambers up in the air and then bounces the basketball off his knee. Stockton gives to Humphries, who's now playing the 2-guard or the shooting guard position. Brian Stith will get up for the Nuggets and come back in next whistle. Stockton, little floater. He is so clever with the basketball. Dan Issel will call timeout. The Nuggets trail by 10 on their home floor, trying to reach 500. First time this late in the season in a few years, but right now they're on the short end of a 27-17 count. Denver Nuggets basketball is brought to you in part by your local Ford dealers. Think Ford first. 7:29 left in the second quarter. The Jazz have outscored the Nuggets 11-1 in the quarter. The Nuggets nothing for 6 from the floor, and their level of emotion is pretty much 0%.
And that's how you judge an athlete. What's going wrong? Why can't they do something? And you know, they're getting good shots, they're not getting good shots, they turn over. What is the unexplained reason? And you look in their eyes, and right now these guys don't have a lot of emotion. No one's playing real fired up, and I don't know if they're worried about Mahmoud. Can he help us or not? They're waiting for him to do something. They got to get a little more excitement, a little more fire.
Coming up after the ball game, the Dan Issel Show, and Dan will have a special treat for you, his All-ABA All-Star team, because Dan didn't want to begin with the NBA in the spirit of All-Star Weekend coming up. Dan wanted to talk about
famous Kentucky days, the old league.
They just over there in the football tournament.
You didn't like it?
I wasn't. They're getting some retired guys. I wasn't on it.
Well, I wanted to put you on Dan Nix the whole idea, though. Brian Stith needs help. Shot clock at 3. Nuggets have to throw one up, and they turn it over. The Nuggets right now can't even get into their offense, and the crowd becoming restless. The other night against Dallas, Sunday night, it was like a library in here. It was a good crowd, considering Dallas was in town, but it was like a library in here. But the Nuggets took care of business. Tonight, there's no emotion and the crowd not involved. Stockton, of all people, gets the offensive rebound. Good job by Brian Stith, and he tumbles hard to the floor. And Brian, despite the hustle, is the one who knocked it out of bounds.
Watch the two offenses, and you see ball movement, you see great passes, guys cutting to the basket. Humphrey's cutting in. He's a guard, and he's still slashing in. A great hustle, though, to break the play up and save a layup. But this team, the Utah Jazz, is cutting, passing, making the extra pass, and Denver's just not, and that's the difference.
Stockton has an enormous screen from Spencer. The double. Now Felton Spencer walks in, and the Nuggets are lucky that Mutombo wasn't called for a foul because he hit Spencer from behind. Felton Spencer was 7. He is not exactly one of the great offensive players in the NBA.
But when Felton Spencer goes the hole like that, you might as well put Lionel Railroad train on his chest because he's going hard. He's running people over.
Reggie Williams, a 20-footer that went 24 feet. The last field goal for the Denver Nuggets came with 30 seconds left in the first quarter. Folks, there's 6:05 left in the second quarter. David Benoit will try a 3. Stith with the long rebound. Nuggets in dire need of a hoop.
You know what happens? Everybody starts looking around. Everybody starts, who's going to do it? And then all of a sudden somebody says, well, maybe I'm the one to do it. And he shoots a bad shot with 20 seconds to go on the shot clock. Or he stands around and he waits. They've got to remember what they did in Sacramento, even though they're not as good a team. And the same thing they did in Dallas. They got to get some kind of movement. If it's nothing more than taking your man to the baseline and popping back out, you've got to get movement in the offense.
Pack with it out top. Shot clock already down to 10. Stith up fake and then throws up a long jumper that rips the cords. Boy, did they ever need that.
Yeah, that biggest bucket of the night for sure.
5.5 to go before halftime. Brian Stith with 4. Stockton out of bounds off of Stockton. Good hustle by Pack. Talking to Robert before the game, and I said, where does Stockton rank in terms of point guards that you have to defend in the league? How difficult is he for you? And he said, well, he's one of those guys like KJ and Hardaway. They're all very tough. The one thing about Stockton that's a little bit different from KJ and Hardaway, he said, is that Stockton really looks to pass first, and sometimes KJ will look to score first, Tim Hardaway will look to score first.
There's a lot of things you want to do to get to the Utah Jazz level, and you talk about some passing. But there's a baseline screen, especially for Karl Malone. Stockton gets fouled on the outside, but when you see a baseline screen to bring Karl Malone to the basket, Karl Malone will run through the guys that try to step up slowly. When the Denver Nuggets run the same play, they stop. The play stop, you step up to bump somebody like Alfonso or something, the play's dead right there. They've got to learn to get a little more physical and a little tougher, especially on the inside.
Pat's got 2 personals. Stockton an 80%er from the line. He has 7 in the ball game now. He averages 14.5 and 13 plus assists a night. And for the 7th consecutive year, John Stockton will, in all probability, lead the NBA in assists.
I think there's a lot of good players. He, in my eyes, is the best point guard in the NBA today.
A little hook by Mutombo. He rolls baseline and gets a slam. Nuggets back with an 8. Mutombo's first field goal of the night. Jeff Malone has come back with Ty Corbett.
Trying to get Mutombo outside. They're putting Spencer high, but that's fine. Can't make a mistake. Keep a flat plane and don't worry about it.
Corbin's the free man. And Felton Spencer
Spencer with a hold. And that'll be 3 on Spencer.
Great move down there by Dikembe. He started to do this a couple weeks ago. Watch that left hand, gets around, wraps around Felton, doesn't want to foul, goes up strong, and that's a high percentage shot. Felton says, Mom, he hooked me.
So now the 2 big men in trouble, Felton Spencer and Brian Williams off the bench for the Nuggets. Both of those players with 3 personals. Nuggets can get it to 6, maybe 5 with the 4-minute mark. Pack is doubled. Malone gets a piece. Karl Malone to the head of the field, and he will dunk it easily.
Well, they just did the same thing the Denver Nuggets have been trying to do. Double team the pass to the wing before they get to the pick and roll. Little difference, though. They stole the ball and come down to 52 points.
Stiff in a crowd. Brian Stiff feeling it. Half a dozen for Brian.
You know, Bryant's the guy, and I think he's really going to develop into this. The guy that's going to keep a team in the game. The guy that's going to be guarding the toughest players. The guy that's going to do all the dirty work. He's only going to get better as time goes.
Tom Chambers says the heck with backing and I'll face up. That is something he has been able to do for a long time. 13 years to be exact. Shoot from the outside. Stiff against Jeff Malone. We'll try another one. This one off the mark. Great movement by the Jazz. Jeff Malone takes care of business on the far baseline.
That's how you play basketball. Double team in the corner. They made 4 passes before they settled for the open jump shot.
That's what the Nuggets need to do more of. Tough layup, Robert Pack. Right hand on the left side of the glass. Pack now with 4. Nuggets back to 10, 2:24 left. Stockton rolls in, easy layup. John Stockton right now conducting a layup drill.
Watch the Utah Jazz when they come down, and right now this may not last. Watch how they execute, though. They're not just passing one time and taking a long shot. It's 1 pass, 2 pass, 3 pass, go to the hole.
John Stockton unimpeded to the hole, 39-27, Jazz by a dozen. This one is easy to select. It came in the first quarter. LaFonso Ellis leading the break. Rodney Rogers, the rookie out of Wake Forest, takes 3 players up with them. David Benoit, one of them, and that is our Nestle sweet move of the game.
The sweet move of the game was brought to you by Nestle, makers of Nestle Crunch and Baby Ruth bars. Nestle, the official candy bars of the NBA.
Drew Goodman, Scott Hastings, Dan Issel does not like the proceedings thus far. His team trails by 12, 39-27, inside 2:10 to go in the first half. The Nuggets had shot it better than 50% their last 2 games, and it held their opponents to 34%. Pack delivers.
Great pass by Dikembe. Great cut by Robert Pack. You got to do that. You can't let a defense dig in on you. You got to keep them guessing, keep them moving.
Chambers needs help. Stockton, great look. Ellis got a piece of it. Corbin gets it to Chambers, and Chambers knocks one through from about 10 feet away. That one hurt because the Nuggets did do a pretty good job on defense.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad job. They can't let a cutter, though. They can't get there late on the cutter coming into the basket. See how the Nuggets pass and stand, pass and stand.
Robert Pack brings John Stockton out. That's good because Stockton perhaps will have to respect his outside shot a little bit more. Pack now with 8 on 4 of 7 from the floor. Got a couple of assists to go with it. The no look to Corbin, back to Chambers, great movement. Jeff Malone, his 12-footer way off.
He forgot to lean.
He did forget to lean. All right, Nuggets can get inside double digits here. Pack loses it. Stockton with a steal. And Stockton has Jeff Malone on the corner route. Touchdown. Jeff Malone now with 8.
Robert Pack still talking with the officials. Wanted the bump on Stockton, but we said it earlier. You're not going to get that call on a guy that's played in the Olympics and played in the All-Star. Now he's a little frustrated. Takes kind of a forced bad
question that was enforced. And now John Stockton looks up at the game clock and the shot clock. The game clock trails the shot clock by about 3 seconds, so Stockton will wind it down. Utah will try to take the last shot. They lead by 12. That's picked off by Stith. He has plenty of time to give it to Pack for the easy 2. Now you got to get back on defense. Chambers gets a 3 off and hits it. That will count. The Jazz have their largest lead of the night as they head to the locker room. 46-33. The Nuggets were careless on defense here. They relaxed.
It was a great steal, but Reggie doesn't need to go for that steal right there. He needs to play tough defense, get in his face, and make him shoot over him.
46-33. Denver Nuggets basketball is 57% from the floor for the Nuggets. Utah picked it up in the second quarter. They finished close to 50%. And the Nuggets turned the basketball over 7 times. It seemed like it was worse than that. But again, it all comes back to movement. Scott, what do you say if you're Dan at halftime?
I don't know if you're allowed to say this on a family program. I think you got to be encouraging because it's only a 13-point deficit. And that's not impossible. So you got to be encouraged, but you got to get them to start moving around.
All right, 46-33. He has 3 victories up at the Target Center. San Antonio by 4 over Washington, Chicago, and the Los Angeles Clippers later on. Utah with the basketball up 13. And the Nuggets start Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf in the second half for Robert Pack. Spencer, all of a sudden, offensive-minded. Felton Spencer, now 4 field goals and a free throw for 9 in the game.
The thing that Jerry Sloan does on the offensive end is he goes to the play that works and he sticks with it. Until they stop that pick and roll, they're going to run it all night.
Ellis, pretty little move, and he gets rewarded with the roll.
Solid move. You got to get John Stockton out of the way so that he can go to work on the block. Karl Malone, a great player, not a great defender, though.
Ellis's first field goal of the game. He has 6 points and 7 rebounds. And there's an easy call for you folks at home that like to put on the striped shirt. Push on the tumble.
John Stockton, watch him on the block. A little late. He is one of the dirtiest players, seriously, in the entire league. And people don't know that. When he sets screens, he's throwing elbows, knees, bumps. He's going to push you, and that's what the Dikembe was telling the ref, that he got pushed. So he runs into Dikembe right there. Dirty. All you little guys are dirty players. You're a dirty player. I heard at your rec league you're a dirty player too, aren't you?
Jeff Malone hits the jumper. Do you think anybody out there cares about it? Probably pretty much.
Well, it just goes to show you that your little point guards are always dirty.
Slapped away. Utah's got the numbers. 3 on 2 the other way. Stockton gets in the air and hits Jeff Malone, who leads in. Spencer keeps it alive to Corbin. He'll shoot a free throw. And right now, Utah far more aggressive in going after loose basketball. So the Nuggets down by 15. Not giving great effort, at least through the first minute 30 of the second half. Stith comes free off the screen. In and out. Spencer with another rebound. He has 7 boards.
Look at all the movement right there. Pass into Malone, cut off the block, wide open jumper in the corner.
Spencer has it stripped down low. Utah hold on to the basketball.
Tyrone Corbin, and he's sitting there patting his chest, my fault, because this is a shot he's supposed to take. Gets around, good pass, however. Felton Spencer just loses it going up.
Stockton, a little out of bounds play, and a wide open shot. Stockton now with a dozen. Jazz's biggest lead of the night. They're up 17. Mahmoud penetrates, gives to Mutombo, and he'll go to the line. Nice job by Mahmoud as he penetrated and then found the open man.
Same play that Utah's been running all night. Little high pick and roll. Gets to the lane. Instead of Stockton, this time it's Mahmoud. Good pass. Foul on the elbow. Going to go line for 2 shots. You know, the one thing that I've noticed the last few weeks, or maybe even this entire season with Mahmoud, is as well as he's played, he really, I think, needs to get to the basket a little more because he can create. I mean, there's no one can stay on him one-on-one. And if he's giving people trouble, he can create a lot of different things for a lot of people.
Chambers will come in for Spencer. Felton out now with 4 personals. Let's see if the Nuggets can take advantage of the fact that Utah does not have a true center on the floor. Mutombo's numbers against the Jazz, not great. Nuggets with a little trap in the backcourt. Corbin, the other end. Malone goes up, in and out. Corbin back up. Bryant stiff. 2-on-2, and Bryant wisely backs it out. Now Reggie Williams, and the Nuggets needed that. That's a triple. And the Nuggets have it back down to 13. Reggie with his 35th bomb of the year. 7 for Williams. Let's see if that will shake the cobwebs from the Nuggets. There's the screen. Stockton pulls up. Now Reggie on the glass at the other end. Good defensive board. The captain works against Corbin. And a bump out on the floor. Tyrone Corbin will pick up his 3rd personal.
See, now I like that. The Reggie gets a rebound, able to pick it up, take it down the court himself. Mahmoud's got to learn that when they put a little pressure on him, he's got to get down, get the floor, find an open spot, and maybe get an open jumper.
Mahmoud in and out. After starting warm, he has really cooled off. Mahmoud has missed his last 6 shots. There's another bump, and Mutombo just picked up number 3.
Well, once again, a flasher going to the block. They got Dikembe, I believe, trying to guard Malone because Tommy Chambers kind of took him outside in the first half. You don't get any bumps at all on Malone and not expect to get a foul.
Brian Williams will get set to come back. He also has 3 personals. Stockton all the way to the hole, count the basket.
Well, you know, it's tough to say how many times they've run this exact play, but it's a little pick and roll. Doesn't even use the screen. Clears off with his arm. Pretty strong guy for a little guy. Gets to the basket.
Mahmoud with his first personal. The assist leaders, it's not even close. Muggsy Bogues, 2nd in the league. Stockton completes the 3-point play. He has 15, which is slightly better than his average, in the lead back to 16. Williams from the corner. It's a 3, but it's long. Karl Malone in transition. Look out.
That right there, Brian Williams tried to get an offensive rebound that time. Got tangled up with Chambers, and now his man runs out.
Dan Issel calls a timeout. The Nuggets trail by 18, and Karl Malone is not even in double figures. He has just 8 points. No matter, the Jazz big. It's been a struggle all night. The Nuggets trail by 18, and against my better judgment, we'll visit Lewis and Florwax again.
Thank you, Drew. You know, we were a little hard on Drew beginning of the game, you know, referring to him as a gnome.
And a midget. We're really sorry. He's really an elf. As a matter of fact, the sign right above us is going to change to Baked with Drew Goodman. Magic.
Now back to Drew and Swen Nader.
That's it. I don't think it's necessary to go back to them anymore.
You're an elf and a gnome, and I'm Tom Borwinkle and Schwinn Nader.
Not 2 of the better looking gentlemen.
Schwinn Nader was built, though. That guy was strong. You remember him when he was in the league?
How about Chucky Nevitt?
Chucky Nevitt.
Chuck Nevitt. Fonz at the line, and he's 4 of 4 tonight from there. Now 5 of 5. The Nuggets trail by 17 in the basketball game against a Utah Jazz team that's been like a Jekyll and Hyde team. Saturday night against Portland, they score 128 points at the Delta Center, win by 14 against a very good basketball team. Their high output of the year, it'll be Utah basketball. And then the next night, they go to Los Angeles to the Forum and lose to the Lakers by 17 and score only 90 points. One of their low outputs of the year.
Yeah, they haven't played real consistency, but consistently.
How about LY at the end of that?
They don't have a lot of consistency this year, but they're still 30-17.
That's right. And they started again 22-8. They're 8-9 over their last 17, and they've lost 5 of their last 6 on the road. Malone misses from point-blank range. Williams bumped. Here comes Mahmoud the other way. Ellis will face up and fire. Stockton has Karl Malone. See you later. Ellis with the foul from behind, and he'll make Malone earn it from the line.
Well, not a bad idea. Kind of dangerous and get people hurt this way, but you can't give him too many easy baskets. If he goes for the head, it's 2 free throws and the ball out. He slapped the arm, took the arm down. Good foul. Make him earn it from the free throw line.
I was talking to Karl Malone in the locker room before the ball game. I said, how's the trucking business going? He made a couple of trips this summer in his 18-wheelers. You know, he is up to 7 rigs now with his trucking company. And he just beams when he talks about it. He really loves the business. Denver Nuggets basket. Malone gets them both. He is now in double figures with 10. Nuggets need to get a run going. They go to Brian Williams, who can score points in bunches. Nice little move. The jump stop. And Brian Williams was looking for the foul. And he's yelling at Lee Jones, and Lee Jones tees him up.
Well, he was telling Lee, just watch for the foul, watch for the foul. That's kind of a quick technical. It'd be that kind of short fuse when a guy, and he's right there in front of us. He's sitting there saying it, so we know what he says. Great move. Let's see if he has a call. He got a hand check right there. Slaps his left elbow just a little bit. Maybe warranted in the griping, but these guys are trying to get back in the game. And I don't mind that because Brian Williams shows he cares a little bit. He's right now the only guy I see with a lot of emotion. Watch the little push there. Watch the left elbow. That's a
It's been a struggle all night. The Nuggets trail by 18, and against my better judgment, we'll visit Lewis and Floorwax again.
Thank you, Drew. You know, we were a little hard on Drew beginning of the game, you know, referring to him as a gnome.
And a midget. We're really sorry. He's really an elf. As a matter of fact, the sign right above us is going to change to Baked with Drew Goodman. Magic.
Now back to Drew and Swen Nader.
That's it. I don't think it's necessary to go back to them anymore.
You're an elf and a gnome, and I'm Tom Borwinkle and Schwinn Nader.
Not two of the better looking gentlemen.
Schwinn Nader was built, though. That guy was strong. You remember him when he was in the league?
How about Chucky Nevitt?
Chucky Nevitt.
Chuck Nevitt. Fonz at the line, and he's 4 of 4 tonight. From there, now 5 of 5. The Nuggets trail by 17 in the basketball game against a Utah Jazz team that's been like a Jekyll and Hyde team. Saturday night against Portland, they score 128 points at the Delta Center, win by 14 against a very good basketball team. Their high output of the year, it'll be Utah basketball. And then the next night, they go to Los Angeles to the Forum and lose to the Lakers by 17 and score only 90 points. One of their low outputs of the year.
Yeah, they haven't played real consistency, but consistent. You speak of
How about LY at the end of that?
They don't have a lot of consistency this year, but they're still 30-17.
That's right. And they started again 22-8. They're 8-9 over their last 17, and they've lost 5 of their last 6 on the road. Malone misses from point-blank range. Williams bumped. Here comes Mahmoud the other way. Ellis will face up and fire. Stockton has Karl Malone. See you later. And Ellis with the foul from behind, and he'll make Malone earn it from the line.
Well, not a bad idea. Kind of dangerous and get people hurt this way, but you can't give him too many easy baskets. If he goes for the head, it's 2 free throws and the ball out. He slapped the arm, took the arm down. Good foul. Make him earn it from the free throw line.
I was talking to Karl Malone in the locker room before the ball game. I said, how's the trucking business going? He made a couple of trips this summer in his 18-wheelers. You know, he is up to 7 rigs now with his trucking company. And he just beams when he talks about it. He really loves the business. Denver Nuggets basketball brought to you in part by North Suburban Medical Center. For more information regarding prostate cancer, call 303-450-4435. Malone gets them both. He is now in double figures with 10. Nuggets need to get a run going. They go to Brian Williams, who can score points in bunches. Nice little move. The jump stop. And Brian Williams was looking for the foul. And he's yelling at Lee Jones, and Lee Jones tees him up.
Well, he was telling Lee, just watch for the foul, watch for the foul. That's kind of a quick technical and be that kind of short fuse when a guy, and he's right there in front of us. He's sitting there saying it, so we know what he says. Great move. Let's see if he has a call. He got a hand check right there. Slaps his left elbow just a little bit. Maybe warranted in the griping, but these guys are trying to get back in the game. And I don't mind that because Brian Williams shows he cares a little bit. He's right now the only guy I see with a lot of emotion. Watch the little push there. Watch the left elbow. That's a foul, ladies and gentlemen. Not called. But Brian Williams had a drive.
And I agree with you. I think Lee Jones is a little quick with the technical because he was 20 feet away. Brian Williams was jawing at him, but he was playing defense. He wasn't running and getting in his face. And now Brian Williams, no. Here's the make good.
That's exactly what that is. Good job right there denying the ball. That's why you got the 3-second call, but you got to be careful by not fronting Karl Malone. He wants you to get on top because they're going to lob it over and he's going to dunk it.
Williams comes out high. Ellis enters, stripped down low. Karl Malone with the reach in, but they'll give it to Stockton. Stockton very smart. There's a veteran player. He quickly raised his hand. If there was any question who was going to get the foul, Stockton wanted it instead of one of the big people, and in this case, that was Karl Malone.
That was a good call. Alfonso did a good job that time. He get a little frustrated. That time, instead of waiting for cutters, he caught the ball and made a move right away. Good move. And now let's make 2 free throws.
Denver Nuggets basketball brought to you by Castle Dodge. Come to the Rock for a rock bottom deal. Castle Dodge, 17-point lead for the Jazz. He's one field goal tonight for Fonz, but he's been to the line 8 times and he's hit 7 free throws. 9 points, 7 boards, 3 assists for LaFonso Ellis. Here's Corbin, back screen. And Brian Williams got the foul. Karl Malone got a back screen from the smallest player on the floor, John Stockton.
And he knows how to set a screen. When he sets a screen, he's putting a little elbow. Watch Mahmoud right there. He's got to bump the cutter, especially somebody that's an NBA All-Star, Karl Malone. That's what he wants to do, come off and not get touched. Mahmoud has to stick his body in there and slow Karl Malone down.
Here comes Mutombo back. Brian Williams with 4 fouls will check out. That hurts the Nuggets, I think, a little bit right now. Now, I'm not saying Mutombo on the floor, but Brian Williams, you look at his numbers the last couple of ball games, he'll play 17, 18 minutes, and he'll score 14, 15 points. And the Nuggets need offense right now, but he has to sit down. Malone gets 1 of 2. He's got 11.
Well, with Chambers and Malone both in there, you wouldn't mind going with Brian Williams, Alfonso, like maybe a Rod.
Ellis, and it's tapped back up and in. And Mutombo will get credit for the field goal. 5 for Dikembe. Nuggets within 15. They trailed by 13 at halftime. They had an atrocious first half, scored only 33 points, their low output of the year. Tyrone Corbin, again, not known as a great outside shooter.
That play was designed for Stockton to get the ball to Tyrone Corbin on an isolation. Exactly what happened. Mahmoud's got to push Stockton the other direction.
Williams comes clean, and they'll send it the other way. Mutombo with the offensive foul, and that's 4 on Dikembe. So the Nuggets, 2 centers, Brian Williams, Dikembe Mutombo, both in serious foul trouble with 5:40 left in the third.
Nice penetration. We wonder how he gets such an easy rebound. Watch the push on Tom Chambers down low. Of course, Tom Chambers flopped a little bit, but that was a good call by the officials, and something Dikembe got away with the play before on the tap in. Now you've got your 2 centers, and we haven't seen this happen too much this year. I think only one other time, both with serious foul trouble with a lot of time to go.
Chambers has the first one. Tom Hammonds will come in. Robert Pack will go in. So the Nuggets have to go small. They'll have Hammonds, Ellis, and Reggie Williams on that front line. The tallest player, really 6'8", and Pack in the backcourt, along with Brian Stitt. Utah's Karl Malone, Tom Chambers up front with Tyrone Corbin. So there's not a true center on the floor. 19-point advantage for the Jazz. And again, the Nuggets standing around trying to feed the post, but very poor movement. And John Chambers, did he need to raise his hand? But Tom, I think everyone in the arena realized the foul was yours.
The one thing Tommy Hammonds can do is play physical, and Tom Chambers does not like a physical player. Tommy Hammonds needs to bump him down the defensive end and do just like he did right there. Step in front of him, take him to the hole.
I was down at Alexander Memorial Coliseum in Atlanta over the weekend, where Georgia Tech plays basketball, and Tom Chambers' jersey hanging high in the rafters. Tom Chambers, excuse me, Tommy Hammonds.
Thank you. Yes.
Tom Chambers.
Sally.
Yeah. Tom Chambers went to Utah. Nuggets will get the basketball. Perhaps a reprieve here for Hammonds, who missed the 2 free throws.
Well, the thing you run into right now is you've got a bunch of guys playing out of position. Do they know the plays at different positions?
Nuggets have been very difficult to figure out this year. They'll play well in 2 or 3 game stretches, as they have the last 2 ball games. There's a steal by Hammonds, and then stolen back by John Stockton.
Oh, great pass. Great pass.
11th assist of the night, a double-double for Stockton. 15 points, 11 assists, and there's a travel by Pack, and the Nuggets turn it right back over. This is as atrocious as I've seen them play in quite a while. They're tough to figure, and I guess that is part of the personality of a very young basketball team. And Dan Issel wants to sit and talk to that young team. 21-point lead for Utah. The Old Spice rebound leaders, Mutombo in 3rd position, the blonde in San Antonio leading the league. And if we went down one more slot, Karl Malone would be there at 11.7 boards a game. He is 6th in the NBA. Nuggets trailing by 21. Drew Goodman, Scott Hastings. We're glad you're along. We hope you stick around for a while tonight on Prime Sports. The Dan Issel show to follow. Dan will be unless something changes dramatically here. Malone forces one up, will go to the line. Jay Humphries will come back for Jerry Sloan's club. You said something to me in the break, Scott, about maybe just shaking the lineup up if you're Dan down 21.
Yeah, you almost have to as we watch this replay. Tommy Hammond is doing a good job getting physical. Karl Malone outweighs him by 50 pounds. But the thing Karl Malone does well is when he feels that pressure, he really jumps into you. And because of who he is, he's always going to get that call.
He's like Fort Knox.
Yeah, that's a big guy. You know, a game, and like you said, we talked about in the break, a game a few weeks ago when they were struggling like this, they bring in somebody like a Mark Randall, you know, somebody that's not playing a lot, who you know is going to go out there and have a lot of energy. Because right now, for reasons unbeknownst to me, they do not have a lot of energy out there.
Not at all. Not a lot of spirit, not a lot of energy, and they trail by 22 with 4:30 left. Rodney Rogers, after a long rest, is in there, and Kevin Brooks is in there. So maybe KB and Rodney Rogers can bring some life to the Nuggets. Ellis stripped down low, no foul call. That gets Dan Issel out of his seat again, and Karl has fun with Dick Pavetta.
Somebody's got to start hitting from the outside, because all that Utah is doing is every time the ball gets in, or every time the ball is looked to be in, as Kevin makes that outside shot, is they sink down in the laps. So when you sink down the laps, you either can't get the ball in, or when you do, you can't do anything with it. So somebody, maybe it's Kevin Brooks, has got to start hitting some shots from the outside, try to get this game under control right now.
Again, they go to Malone on the block. Turnaround jumper. Big rebound for Ellis. Then he goes to the floor. And then the 4-hop bounce pass to Robert Pack. Nuggets can get it within 20 here. Rodney Rogers will go up strong. He's stripped, and it goes out of bounds off Utah.
That's the kind of shot down the other end you want Karl Malone to beat you on. I always felt when I guarded him that I didn't want him in the paint, because he was either going to knock me over, and if he did miss the shot, get the rebound, I was going to foul him. I wanted him to go around the baseline and take his fadeaway jumpers.
Warner should be honest. You didn't want him in the basketball game when you were on the floor.
Well, yeah, I did. I enjoyed playing with Karl.
KB off another screen. Remember a few games ago when he came in and was 4 of 4, hit a couple of three-pointers against Chicago? He can do that. He can really be streaky.
I think when KB gets in trouble when he starts worrying about getting a shot blocked. And then he starts forcing things and starts missing some wide open shots.
Jeff Malone with the answer at the other. Quietly, Jeff Malone with 13 points. He has outscored the other Malone, Carl, with 4. No relation, obviously. Carl Malone rips it out of the hands of Alfonso, and then Fonz saves it to Robert Pack.
Get out.
Look out! Take that, says Rodney Rogers.
Right now, the Nuggets have got a little crowd behind them. They need to start picking up their defense. They need to start overplaying the wings. They need to start denying the ball, and they got to pick their defense up.
Robert Pack tripped Jay Humphries.
You have an exciting play on one end. You get 16,000 people who have been sitting on their hands to get up. They've got to pick up the defense. Carl just lets this one slip. Great hustle by Alfonso, almost out of bounds. No call. Robert Pack looking for somebody. Here comes the Thunder Train. Bam.
One of these days, I know Rodney's a rookie. They might have to send him to the All-Star game to compete in the slam dunk contest. I know Rodney's disappointed he's not going to compete in the rookie All-Star contest. Brian Russell, who we haven't seen this evening, will play for Utah. He was a second-round pick.
Rodney struggled there for a while for whose ever fault it was, but Rodney should be in this rookie All-Star team. He's better than 4 or 5 guys easily.
I think based on the last 2 weeks. Ellis waits for traffic to go by. It clears and he jams. Great look by Kevin Brooks.
Unbelievable basket. Yeah. Pick up the defense. Let's get something started now on the defensive end.
Jay Humphries trapped for a moment. David Benoit has it. But if you look at the last month, Rodney Rogers would be there on merit. Humphries fires the 3. Tom Chambers pulls the rebound down.
That's a fault of Alfonso trying to outjump somebody for the rebound, which he usually is able to do. The ball takes an extra bounce on the backboard. He's got to block out. You can't make fundamental mistakes at this stage of the game.
Shot clock down to 8. They get it to Carl Malone, and he gets that textbook position on the low block.
Tommy's a strong guy, but he still gives up, 20 pounds to Carl Malone, 25. That's goaltending.
That's goaltending. Count the basket for Rodney Rogers. Rogers now with 7. The Nuggets within 17. Might not sound great, but it's as close as they've been in a while. And credit Kevin Brooks and credit Rodney Rogers with giving the Nuggets some life here. Inside, $1:30 left in the 3rd quarter, a whistle. And Robert Pack has just picked up number 4. So they have centers in foul trouble, and now the Nuggets have their healthiest point guard in foul trouble.
Well, you've got to be able to play people off the dribble, and I know John Stockton's an all-star, but you can't keep getting, of course that was Humphries, you can't keep getting in trouble by your point guards fouling. And that's what's happening, but they've got to pick up their defense. You've got to do it now. Maybe you're only down 17. Maybe you get it down to 12 points, 14 points, and that's not an insurmountable lead in the 4th quarter.
Don't miss the Nuggets Fantasy Training Camp presented by Prime Sports Network and the Aspen Snowmass Lodging Company. You'll spend 3 days in Aspen from September 8th through the 11th working out with Dan Issel and the Nuggets coaches. All proceeds benefit the Nuggets Community Fund and Big Brothers of Denver. For more information, call 893-6700. For a chance, maybe like Michael Jordan, get yourself a professional contract. What do you think about that, Scott?
Well, if you listen to AM 760 KBLK 3 to 6 daily, I think if any athlete can do it, he can do it. But realistically, you're talking about major league pitching, and that's a little different.
And I think
60-year-old guy.
Shot. He's 6'6".
He's got a shot. Get off of it.
He's got no shot.
He's got a shot.
Kevin Brooks again gets it inside to Ellis. He misses the jam. Tommy Hammonds with the rebound. Pack penetrates, gives off. Ellis, count the hoop. The Nuggets are moving better, if nothing else. 109 left, and they can get it get to 16.
Well, this is a good look, and you don't know what's going to happen the rest of the way, but this team is getting things done. Robert Pack, great penetration. LaFonso Ellis, nice move, getting bumped, back around his body, wanted to dunk. It comes back from underneath the backboard. That's a tremendous move, very athletic.
Chambers with 3. You saw Ellis pump his fist in the air, and his enthusiasm can be infectious with this club.
Well, it's only a 16-point lead. You got a minute to go. You have to shut Utah down the last minute. Get the game to about 12, and they're starting to do it by picking up some defense.
Chambers swings it to Benoit.
Don't front.
There's a turnover. Brooks comes away with it. Good job by Hammonds on the low block. Now Pack. Ellis thought about a 3. Back to Pack. KB will fire a 3. On its way. Back iron. Hammonds to Pack. And Robert thought about it and wisely brought it back down. And Benoit.
Benoit, you're a young kid to miss with Mr. Rogers down underneath the bat. These guys are bad, but you know, a month ago, Rodney Rogers did not post up this strong. Watch him down the block fighting, down there in your lower left corner, pushing. Benoit's gonna get mad, hits him right there, pushes again. You know what? Rogers is starting to do that more, and if he does it the rest of the way out, he's going to be unbelievable.
So Rodney will go to the line. Rodney, by the way, will be our guest, or Dan's guest, on the Dan Issel Show after the ball game. Playing his best basketball of his first year in the league. Rogers now with 8. He has played in all 46 games coming into tonight. He was 8 of 13 from the floor against Dallas. And now the Nuggets have it down to 14. 35 seconds left in the third quarter. Humphrey swings it to Benoit. His jumper's short. He gets his own rebound. That hurts.
Yeah, LaFonso contested the jump shot, ran out instead of coming back in for the ball. Watch Malone. You got Kevin Brooks guard. Karl Malone. Don't front it, Kevin. You don't have any help down there.
That's a mismatch, and now the Nuggets double them, and there's the foul called on Kevin Brooks.
Well, Kevin is not a very good post-defensive player. Now watch him wrap his arm completely around. I know he's outweighed by about 60, but you don't get away with that. You take your forearm and you put your forearm right on his number 32, but you do it from the backside, not the front side.
KB's got about a 38-inch sleeve, and he can't even get it around Karl Malone.
Karl Malone would wear Kevin Brooks' arms like a belt.
Malone. You want me to acknowledge that line? That was hilarious, Scott. I'll tell you what. You ever thought about a career in comedy? 15-point lead for Utah. Malone with 17. Pack penetrates all the way in. Maybe a prelude of what fans around the nation will see in Minneapolis at the All-Star game. Good if it goes, and it is short and wide left. So the Nuggets make a run. They were down by 22 late in the third quarter, and they trail by 13. The same 13 they trailed by at halftime. Robert Pack with the exclamation point to close out the third quarter. Nuggets still in it. They need a big fourth. The Nuggets in pursuit of the 500 mark. We head to the fourth quarter. They have work to be done. They trail by 13. We check in with Rick Lewis and Michael Florwax.
Thanks a lot, Drew. Is our tongues blue? We've been drinking these 10,000 flushes on ice, and they sell them here at the arena. They're really good. We're here with Ellis Burks, one of the new Colorado Rockies. He is their brand new center fielder. Welcome to Denver.
Thank you very much. It's happy to be here. Ellis, you must be a pretty good baseball player because you got a Rolex.
Well, I try. You know, my mom bought it for me.
Well, welcome to Denver, Ellis.
Thank you very much.
All right, Ellis Burks of the Rockies. Now back to Drew and Tom Burwinkle.
Thank you very much, guys. Fouled from behind. Kevin Brooks will go to the line. Jay Humphreys with the foul. Here's our Schick Action update. The Jazz shooting 48%. The Nuggets have improved to 41. They were mired around 36% for most of the basketball game. Malone, most of those points from the free throw line. Kevin Brooks has given the Nuggets some offense off the bench, and that is what he did at Southwest Louisiana.
12-point game, about to become 11 if he makes his free throw. And you've got to credit Brooks, Hammonds, and Rodney Rogers for coming off the bench and giving this team a big, big boost.
The Nuggets, two big men, Mutombo and Brian Williams, both on the bench with 4 personals. Stripped from behind. There's a turnover. Rogers gives to Pack. Robert all the way in. Count the hoop. Acrobatic left-handed shot by Robert Pack.
You have your BCR set, you got this dual screen. These guys are now playing with a lot of energy, and it started with the defense. Nice rip right down there. Good penetration on this dribble. Foul from behind, foul on the block. Get in there, Kiss. Highlight of the year for Robert Pack.
Nuggets have it to 9, maybe 8. It's good enough to watch again. Now 8 is Pack. Hits the free throw as you see the replay again. Nuggets have it down to 8. This is as close as they've been since early in the second quarter. Pack has 15. That'll quiet the crowd a little bit.
Well, Rodney was a little unsure. They tried to trap up high. When the ball swung, he was kind of caught in that gray zone, that middle, not knowing whether he should stay out or go back. You got to watch that, but that's okay. They're trying to make things happen.
David Benoit ended that 7-0 run. Rogers leans in, tried to draw contact, offensive foul. Dick Pavetta said, no, I'm not going to buy that.
You know what, I can take that because you know what, it's showing a little of aggressiveness. Maybe not the smartest play, maybe look inside, but jumps in, puts an elbow right in Benoit's face. Next time Rodney gets the ball, Benoit will not be that close to him.
And Mutombo gets set to come back in. And we have an illegal defense called first on the Nuggets, so they'll just get the warning. Jazz by 10. Mutombo comes back. Tommy Hammonds will check out.
Tommy's one of those guys, you look at the stats, he doesn't have any points, not any great big numbers, but he played tough. He gives you a toughness that you don't see on a stat sheet.
And his biggest fan is the head coach. Dan Issel loves how hard Tom Hammonds plays every night, and he loves his professionalism.
Yeah, he's a guy that you cannot play for 3 straight games. In the 4th game, he's going to play hard. He's not going to moan and gripe.
That's on Chambers as he stuck a hip out on Robert Pack.
Well, that's a good call. Tommy, you can't pivot and set a screen while you're handing the ball off. That's a good foul. But, you know, it starts because Robert Pack is shadowing Stockton. He's right there. Tommy, that's a good call by the officials.
Plenty of time for the Nuggets. Brooks gives off. Ellis waits and has it swatted away by Chambers, but the Nuggets will hold on to the basketball. They'll have 15 seconds to work their offense.
Great move by Fonz. Maybe one too many head fakes. Take it up.
KB falling away. Rodney Rogers with the offensive rebound. Now he'll go hard to the glass. On the reverse side, no whistle.
Drop a three-pointer.
Nuggets had their shots. Jay Humphries back to stop. Felton Spencer's back in. Blocked by Mutombo. Rodney Rogers, one man to beat. All the way to the hoop. Rogers.
You want to talk about a guy getting some respect all of a sudden. John Stockton usually steps in there and takes that charge. He got out of the way. Did not want to get run over by the freight train.
Stockton back to Chambers, 20 feet. Kevin Brooks on the glass. Now all the Nuggets are into it. They can cut it to 6.
The thing that happens when you start to get a little run on a team, people start passing it. They don't want that shot. When they do take the shot, that arm's a little more tight than it was when you're up 17.
Pack gives to Mutombo, swatted for a moment. Now Pack will shoot the jumper and he'll hit. 17 for Robert Pack. To go in the third quarter. Now there's life. Now there's energy. Nuggets within 6. Quarter. The Nuggets have closed to within 6.
Well, you don't turn around and put the ball right in front of Dikembe Mutombo. He's the lead shot blocker. Watch him go to the basket. Rodney Rogers, Stockton had a chance to take the charge. Said, I'm getting out of the way because the freight train hurts.
John Stockton's been in the league 10 years. You don't stick around for 10 years getting in the way of a 260-pound man. Kevin Brooks on the floor. Good defense on Benoit. Karl Malone's back. Stockton tries a 3. That one hurts a little bit.
That right there is from a guy that didn't even hesitate and isn't really a great outside shooter. Big three-point bucket.
Stockton's numbers, 18 points, 7 of 10 from the floor. He's got 11 assists and a carry on Robert Ball.
That play was broken up. They were trying to get Kevin Brooks open on the other side of the court for a jump shot. Kevin Brooks, he wants to pass right there. Oh yeah, you can't cross over your entire body. That is a good carry. But you've got to set a screen. If they set a screen, if Dikembe gets on the block and sets a screen for Kevin Brooks, you don't get that turnover.
Corbin goes to Malone. Good defense. Good job by Ellis. Oh, there's Mutombo. They call it on Malone. I thought Dikembe was going to get one for throwing an elbow, but they give it to Karl Malone.
Well, Carl's saying something. LaFonso, good job standing there. Reach in. He wasn't doing anything. The way you don't get that call is if you keep your elbows up above their heads, and you can do that when you're 7'2". If he's parallel to the floor with that, that might be a foul to Dikembe.
Brooks comes off a double screen, elevates. Felton Spencer nearly stepped out of bounds. Here comes Stockton for Utah, the Jazz by 9. Malone fouled by Ellis.
Well, Karl Malone is the king of getting position. He's the king of jumping into you and drawing the foul. I mean, he's an NBA All-Star. He shoots more free throws year in and year out than anybody else. If you watch Kevin Brooks come off the court, great job, missed his last couple jumpers, but this guy played well and was the reason the Denver Nuggets got back in this game.
He leaves with 6 points, but he did a good job on both ends. He pulled down a couple of rebounds. I want to hear an unbelievable statistic. Karl Malone, in his 39 games against the Denver Nuggets in his career, has been the leading scorer for Utah 38 of those 39 times. This is a guy that comes to play every night. He's missed 4 games in 9 years.
You know, he just doesn't have the personality like a Jordan or a Magic to just own the league. But this is a very popular guy, and as you said, comes to work every night and knows he's not going to get any trouble off the court. Just a solid citizen.
Oh, he's a great guy. I know you've visited with him a number of times. He's actually a very warm guy, a very fun-loving guy. But again, doesn't have the engaging, outgoing personality like a Charles Barkley. Let's see who this is going to go against. Dick Bavetta and Lee Jones haven't decided yet.
I don't know, but Felton and I think Dikembe down on the weak side are looking for a contact or something because they're both on the ground hard. Tyrone Corbin have said they're calling the foul on him. I think they said he pushed Reggie in the back or grabbed his arm when he was shooting that last shot on the side. He doesn't like the call. Dan likes the call.
John Stockton now playing attorney for Tyrone Corbin, and he's litigating with Dick Bavetta and Lee Jones. And now Karl Malone steps in as alternative counsel.
Well, we're trying to get a judgment. If I say it's 2 shots, let's go. 23 gets the foul. I mean, what's the big? Have you ever seen a referee change his mind? Get on the free throw line, quit moaning, let's play.
So Reggie Williams, after the courtroom time, will be at the line, and he's in and out. Reggie Williams, 72% for the year at the line, and Reggie, for most of his career, has been close to 80%. You can't miss your free throws. 7:45 to go. Utah leads at 82-72. Jerry Sloan wants a set play here.
Probably going to be that pick and roll that they've ran so well all night.
Shot clock's at 3. Now 2. Malone just
call. He got that off before the horn sounded, but you want Karl Malone to beat you from 18, 19 feet. You don't want him to beat you taking it to the hole.
Bryant Stith gets it back to Robert Pack. Reggie will try a three. Stith goes straight up and hits.
Big rebound at a key time. They need to get this thing back down to about 6 points, get it down to the end of the game, and win the game the last close hole.
Back against Stockton. Stockton 8 of 11 from the floor. He is having a great night. He's got 20 points.
You don't make the All-Star team missing free throw jumpers, and that's all he's shooting right now because they've got to work something out on this pick and roll. They're not doing it.
He's headed to his 6th straight All-Star game. Stith on the weak side. Mutombo gets the rebound and then loses the basketball. And they get a jump ball out of it. Good job by Mutombo to tie up Tyrone Corbin. Corbin's got to be careful. He's still angry about the last foul call on him, and he thought he got fouled there.
Well, the tide has changed from Utah being the dominating physical team to where now Denver's playing a little physical. Dikembe gets that ball. He can't bring that thing down to his waist and allow a 6'2" point guard to steal it from him. That's exactly what happened. Now Malone wants to jump. I don't understand why this takes so long. We've got the call. We've got the combatants. Let's do it. Maybe wasting time.
Maybe they're checking upstairs for instant replay. Can you imagine instant replay in the NBA?
Oh, goodness.
6:28 left in the ball game, and Bryant Stith controls the tap. Ellis with good post position on Malone. Reggie's trying to get it to him, and now does.
Well, spot.
Malone has number 3.
Karl Malone, for as great as he is, still isn't a tremendous post-up player. Look, he's chesting him. Nice reach, another reach, and that's his game, is kind of a reach and slap on the post. You've got to take it to him. He's got 3 fouls. Make him pay the price.
You see the 7-game separation between Utah and Denver. Again, the more important number. Denver 5.5 games ahead of Los Angeles for the 8th spot and the final playoff spot. And still half of basketball season to be played. Those division standings brought to you by your Colorado Lexus dealers.
You know, it seems like every time the Nuggets battle back to get within 1 game of that 500 mark, they play a game like they did tonight to get it back down to 2 games below 500.
Ellis with his 14th double-double of the year, Scott. He continues to have a great year. It started a little slow, but ever since November, he has been terrific. Karl Malone, that's the shot you want him to take. And Ellis with rebound number 11. Nuggets can get it inside 10. Mahmoud.
You got Mahmoud now in for Pack, and you don't want to do what he's doing. He's passing and standing, allowing Stockton to sit in the lap of the big players.
Ellis somehow gets the rebound. Here's Mahmoud. He'll try a 3. Batted around, and it goes out of bounds off of Dikembe Mutombo. One thing I don't understand, over the last few ball games, all of a sudden it's like somebody said, well, you don't have enough assists, Mahmoud. Therefore, Mahmoud has read that, believed it somewhere, and he doesn't shoot the basketball. His game, the reason he's in the NBA is he's a prolific scorer.
And that's true. And if he wants to become an assist guy, I'd like to see him do it like he did earlier. Be one of those guys that penetrates, gets to the basket, and then dishes off.
Stolen for a moment. Now Reggie Williams has it. It's a sprint against Karl Malone. Williams goes up and in.
Dan's yelling at the truth. Pick him up. Pick him up. You don't want to fall back now. Defense got you back in the game. You're down 8. A lot of time left. You got to pick up the defense. Keep the pressure on Utah. Make them make the big shots.
Stopped in 5 seconds, and Karl Malone just slipped and fell. And now Dick Bavetta will call an official timeout so the floor can get wiped up.
Well, he trips right over Dikembe's foot. That's nobody's fault. The play right before, Stockton just stuck an elbow right in the back of Dikembe, and Dikembe tried to level him.
Stith to Mahmoud.
You got to want the ball in this situation. You can't run and hide from it.
Ellis tries a long-range jumper to 2. Foot was on the line. Bonds having a big ball game. 18 points, 12 rebounds. And the Nuggets are within 6 again. Malone double pumps and hits.
You got to stay down. Now, the difference between that shot he made and the one he missed a while ago was about 5 feet, and that increased your percentage about 10 to 12%.
3:40 left in the basketball game. Now they clear out for Dikembe or for Mahmoud, and they go to Rogers on the block against Corbin.
Mahmoud's got to move. Get Stockton out of there.
Rodney goes up. Stith was hit from behind, and Dan Issel incredulous. Brian Stith had position, and Dick Bavetta gives the basketball to Utah.
Weak side, good move, just a little strong. Somebody's over the back, Malone and Dikembe, so I don't know if you can really call a foul there.
Stockton works the two-man game with Karl Malone. Stockton free. Brian Stith with the steal. And all the personal on Corbin. Corbin's got 5.
Well, the good news is for the last 3 minutes, at least right now, Denver will be in the shooting, the bonus section for the rest of the 3 minutes. The Nuggets, however, only have 1 team foul. They can afford to be aggressive, a little more aggressive than the Denver Nuggets.
88-80, 3:02 left in the 4th. Stith leads the Nuggets in minutes played this year. What a contrast to last year where he was injured so frequently, and that was hard for Brian to go through, and it's hard for anybody to go through an injury situation. But Brian, 4 years at Virginia, he never missed a game.
Yeah.
Stockton will inevitably work that high screen and roll with Karl Malone. Nearly thrown away. There's the horn, and the Nuggets will get the basketball. Good defense. Goes to 24-second violation.
It's a great defense, and the one thing Dikembe did well that time is he didn't move and leave his feet and let Malone get a closer look at the basket.
2:35 left. The Nuggets call timeout. They trail by 7. Drew Goodman, Scott Hastings on Prime Sports this evening. 2.5 minutes left. The Nuggets have trailed throughout. Rogers against Corbin walks in, and then he misses the jam. Followed up, and Spencer tumbles to the floor to travel. And a technical. No, jump ball now. I thought Dick Bavetta was going to call a technical.
That is unbelievable.
The way he came running out of there. Where did that come from? He called the travel, and then all of a sudden comes up with a jump ball.
And it wasn't like he asked for help. Good move, good strong move right there. Just missed the tip, got on it saying, there's no jump ball yet.
And the Nuggets control the tap. So justice is served. Rogers gives to Stith. Stith, jump ball.
You see a double team, it's a good pass, and he had him on his back. It's a good play. What Brian Stith's got to do, when he feels this double and triple team, he can't go up on 7-foot Felton Spencer. He's got to kick it out.
Stith will try to steal the tap, and he's able to do it again. No. They'll re-jump.
Well, the officiator is probably correct on this. The hometown fans, they seem really out of control right now.
Nuggets need a stop here. 88-81. They're down 7. 2 minutes to go in the fourth. Mahmoud gets picked off. Stockton left alone. Stockton knocks down the jumper.
It's amazing when they run the same play time and time again that you don't realize it's coming and you still run into that screen.
You got to get over the top of that screen. Now it's a 9-point bulge, and the Nuggets will talk it over. 1:51 to play. When it debuted, the Nuggets have only lost one time when Dan had his show after a home basketball game.
Well, this game is far from over. They brought KB back in now. Maybe he can hit a 3 or something for him, but they showed some effort. We talked about during the break. They just got themselves too far down the hole and just didn't play hard for the first half, first 3 quarters of the game.
The Jazz have led throughout, and it was 22 points at one point. Mahmoud has just been way off the mark ever since he hit his first 2 shots of the game. And again, he's playing with that shoulder strain, but he's 2 of 10 tonight, just 4 points. He is averaging less than 13 a game the last 20 or so, which is amazing because he was averaging 22 points a game early in the season. He's down around 18 now. Tyrone Corbin, and that one hurts a little bit more.
Interesting matchup, one we'll probably see for a long time in the future. Malone versus Rogers on the block.
Rodney Rogers hits a 3-pointer. Rodney can do that. 6 of 16 this year from long range. And another bucket, Stitt. And now here comes the pressure. The Nuggets within 6 with 1:12 left.
Maybe. Coach Travis Murley, don't foul, just trapping.
Stockton races up the floor back to Jeff Malone, who shrewdly brings it down. The Nuggets with only 1 team foul.
10 seconds. You don't want to foul with 10 seconds. You've held the ball. You've held them up for 14 seconds. You got 10 seconds on the shot clock. You got a minute left in the game. You make him take a tough shot and get the rebound. You're only down 6 points.
That was a foolish foul. Now the next foul will be the second in the final 2 minutes, so Utah would go to the line. Ellis comes out. Mutombo comes in. It's a defensive switch. Corbin calls timeout. He didn't find anybody open. Utah leads by 6, 57.3 seconds left. The Nuggets will need a couple of stops, and you don't have to shoot the 3 yet, do you, Scott?
It's not time yet, although if you get a shot wide open, like no easy baskets, and God forbid you don't allow a second shot.
Is that your philosophy there, Scott?
Well, yeah. Thanks for asking.
The Jazz have the basketball, the inbound from the side. Corbin gets it to Stockton, who's got a locked grip on the basketball generally. Pack will guard him. And Stockton will dribble off 20 seconds guaranteed.
Guess what the play will be? When they finally run a play, what will the play be?
Malone will come swinging over. Here he comes. He'll set the high screen. Kevin Brooks jumps Stockton, and Brian Stith with the tackle. So Karl Malone will go to the line. Now that's not all that bad in that Karl Malone is not a great free throw shooter.
Well, Brian Stith's mom says he wanted to play football when he was a young kid. That right there, that's Dennis Smith, not Brian Stith, taking out the tight end coming across the middle.
And Karl Malone would be one heck of a tight end. 6'9", 260.
How about Brian Stith back there at free safety?
I like that also. Malone tonight has been to the free throw line 12 times. This will be his 13th pitch. He's 7 of 12. 23 points, 10 rebounds. It started slow, but somehow Malone always gets his. Now it's a 3-possession basketball game. Nuggets trail by 8. Pack back to Rogers. It's a 3-pointer, and it's good. Rodney with his second long range.
They got the D now. Get a steal. Oh, yes.
They got the steal. Look at Scott Rogers. He'll pull up, same spot. Same result.
Let's go. 2-point game. You don't need to foul, though.
There's another steal. Rogers will try another 3. Oh, my God. Can you believe that?
was hit by one player, much less a rookie who's an inside player.
Oh, my. Oh, ill-advised three-point shot. That last one drains it in the corner with people all over it. Unbelievable series.
Rodney Rogers 4 of 4 from deep tonight.
Here's one. Kicked it out. Great play. Now pick up the defense. Rodney Rogers coming back. We're going to see it still right here. Robert Pack still. You can't hit 2 in a row. Same place.
Find the Mad Bomber again. Here's another steal. Rodney, don't go ever half court.
That's right. 2-point game now. It's a 2-point game. Steal. Great save. But look at this. All over him. Fading away. Left-handed. Oh, my God. You know what? The Nuggets stunk all 3/4 of this game.
And they have a chance to win it now. But let's keep in mind, the Jazz lead the basketball game. Jeff Malone with a clutch jumper.
Huge jumper. The free throw line. This will be the biggest theft in the NBA this year.
Mr. Three's on the floor. There he is. Kevin Brooks on the floor. Mahmoud is not. They have Robert Pack out there. Brian Stithel inbounded. Pack has it. They go to Rodney. Certainly he's had the hot hand. He goes in. It's blocked. Ellis has got to get it up. And then no whistles blown, and the Nuggets won't get a shot off. The Nuggets never get a shot off. The last 5 seconds look like 2 NFL teams trying to pick up a fumble.
Rodney Rogers penetrated the basketball. Obviously what Dan Issel wanted him to do. Bump, push. You're not going to get that call down the end of the game. Gets it stripped. LaFonso gets the ball, gets a look at it, gets stripped, gets bumped. No whistles. No officials going to end this game by calling a foul.
Unbelievable. Rodney Rogers got the Nuggets ahead. Jeff Malone hit the baseline jumper. The Nuggets had the last shot, but never got one to the iron. Tonight's play of the game brought to you by